Hello and welcome. In this session, inshallah, we are going to talk about the difference between the atom and the ion. What's exactly the difference between the atom and the ion? Now, the atom, any element in the periodic table, doesn't carry any charge. For example, Na, okay, or iron, Fe, or nitrogen, N. Each element here, you don't see a positive charge or a negative charge around it. It's just neutral here. So we call this atom an atom. But the ion, any element carries a charge, positive charge or a negative charge. For example, Na, positive 1, or Fe, positive 2, or N, negative 3. We call this ion. Why? Because any element carries a charge, positive charge or a negative charge, we call it ion. Okay, now what does it mean, the positive charge or the negative charge? What does it mean exactly, the charge? Now, the positive charge, it means that the sodium has lost one electron. The positive charge, it means that the element loses electrons. In the case of the sodium here, the sodium has lost 1 electron. The iron has lost 2 electrons because he has positive 2 charge. But the negative one, it means that the element gains electrons. For example, here nitrogen has gained 3 electrons. Okay, the nitrogen here has gained 3 electrons. So the positive one means that the element loses electrons, but the negative one means that the element gains electrons. Very well. Now, another difference between the atom and the ion, that the number of protons equal to the number of electrons in the case of the atom. Here, in the case of the atom, the number of protons equals to the number of electrons. The number of the positive charge of the protons equals to the number of the negative charge of the electrons. But the ions, the number of protons doesn't equals to the number of electrons. How is that possible? Now, let's take an example for sodium, Na. Na has 11 atomic number. What does it mean, this 11 atomic number? It means that the number of electrons equals 11 and the number of protons equals 11. Now, when this sodium atom turns into Na positive 1 ion, this means that the number of electrons, let's take first the number of electrons. So this means that the number of electrons become 10. Why? Because this positive charge, it means that the sodium has lost 1 electron. So the number of electrons becomes 10. But the number of protons is still the same, 11. So you will see here that the number of electrons and the protons in the sodium atom equals to each other. But in the the sodium ion, the number of protons doesn't equals to the number of electrons. That's exactly the difference between the atom and the ion. Now, let's take another example. If you have calcium 20. So here, the number of electrons equals 20 and the number of protons equals 20. But when this calcium turns into Ca positive 2, you will see that the number of electrons of the calcium ion becomes 18. And the number of protons still the same, 20. Okay, so this is the difference exactly between the atom and the ion. Okay, let's take another example. For the nonmetal, for example, a Cl17. So here in the chlorine atom, you will see that the number of electrons equals 17 and the protons equals 17. When this chlorine turns into Cl negative 1, it means that the number of electrons becomes 18. But the number of protons is still the same, 17, because negative 1 means that the chlorine atom has gained 1 electrons. Okay? That's exactly the difference between the atom and the ion. The atoms, it's just neutral, but the protons equals to the electrons, but the ion, it's not neutral. It carries a charge, positive charge or negative charge. This is it for this video. Thank you and have a good day.